Okay, I would like to provide information for you for the Chapter 5 test. I've highlighted the information that is included on the test. The test has 16 multiple choice questions, 4 completion questions with a word bank, 25 matching questions, which those 25 are your 25 vocabulary terms, and there are 7 short answer for a total of 52 questions. Okay, the items that I have highlighted, starting with number 2, the stages of development. That is a question that is under the short answer. You are going to have to list all 3 of the stages of development. So period of the zygote, period of the embryo, and period of the fetus. Okay. You will also need to know, as far as genetics, that the definition for genetics, those are characteristic genes or characteristics that we've inherited from both of our parents. You will need to know the total number of chromosomes. Each person has 46 chromosomes. We get 23 from our mom and 23 from our dad. The sex of the child is determined by the male. So the female has an XX chromosome and the male has an XY chromosome. And those are included in a short answer question as well. You need to know the difference between fraternal and identical twins. Fraternal twins are when 2 eggs are released and fertilized, so they can be the same sex or opposite sex. Identical twins have to be the same sex because they're one egg that splits in half. Definition of infertility is the inability to become pregnant. And options for people who are infertile or infertile couples, the ones that are included on the test: artificial insemination, and that's where the doctor injects sperm into the woman's uterus with a special needle. In vitro is probably the most common one that's used today. And that's for women who have damaged fallopian tubes that the eggs can't travel down the tubes to become fertilized. So the doctor combines the eggs, healthy eggs from the woman, and sperm from the man outside of the body, and then the fertilization takes place. The doctor will then reinsert the eggs back into the woman's uterus. Okay, ovum transfer is kind of where they take a procedure that's used where they take eggs from a female donor. So this would be as a result of a female who does not produce healthy eggs. And then they do the in vitro fertilization process. A surrogate mother is one who carries a baby, becomes pregnant for another couple and carries that baby for them. We'll need to know the difference between miscarriage and stillbirth. Miscarriage happens the first 20 weeks, stillbirth after 20 weeks. Causes of birth defects, we have 3 main categories: environmental, which are completely preventable. Hereditary and errors in chromosomes are really not preventable. We can lessen the risk of those things by consuming folic acid. You need to also remember that birth defects can be diagnosed before or after the baby's born. So before, sometimes through like a sonogram or something of that sort. Blood test is often also used. Okay, so if we're diagnosing birth defects or preventing, sometimes couples seek out genetic counseling. And usually their concern is they want to know what their risks are or what their chances are of having a baby with a serious birth defect. That genetic counselor cannot tell them what to do, just can give them recommendations or explain what the options and risks are involved. There are all kinds of prenatal tests that are done, either a blood test, etc. And lots of different birth defects can be diagnosed before that baby is even born. Okay, some of the more common prenatal tests, ultrasound or sonogram is the same thing. It's where they use sound waves to make a video image of an unborn baby. And technically we think of a sonogram being used often as a gender reveal, but the purpose of a sonogram is to check for specific health problems. Amniocentesis is often used too. That's where they withdraw a sample of amniotic fluid, so they use a special needle to withdraw that. Chorionic villia is kind of like a biopsy. They, excuse me, they remove a portion of the membrane that encases the fetus and test it. And then some of the birth defects. Fetal alcohol syndrome is sometimes referred to as FAS. Causes physical and mental problems, and obviously it can be prevented if a woman does not consume alcohol while she's pregnant. A lesser effect would be fetal alcohol effects, just less severe. Other dangers: taking medicine, over-the-counter or prescription drugs. Make sure you always consult with a doctor before you take any type of medicine. Whether it be something as simple as Tylenol or a cough drop or cough medicine, you should always make sure you consult a doctor before taking anything. Okay. X-rays are also another form that can cause, the radiation in the X-rays can cause birth defects, deformities, those type of things. And then we also mentioned not smoking during pregnancy or limiting the amount of caffeine we consume. Obviously, refraining from using any type of illegal drugs. Rubella or the German measles can be very, very dangerous. So a pregnant woman should never ever be around anyone or be exposed to anyone that has the German measles. Sexually transmitted diseases often can be passed from mom to baby, so pregnant women are often tested to make sure they do not have an STD. And then AIDS also can be infected. The baby can be infected with AIDS by the mother. Okay, also take a look at this worksheet that we did, understanding birth defects. These 9 birth defects are included on the test as well. So first one, an extra chromosome, is Down syndrome. So instead of having 46 chromosomes, someone with Down syndrome has 47. A gap in the mouth is cleft lip or cleft palate. Number 3 affects the body's ability to process and use fat. That is the Tay-Sachs disease. Weakness and shrinking of the muscles is E, the muscular dystrophy. Number 5 affects respiratory and digestive systems is cystic fibrosis. Malformed red blood cells are sickle cell anemia. The body is unable to process certain proteins, that is PKU. We're all tested for PKU when we're a baby and born in the hospital. They take prick the baby's heel and take a sample of blood to make sure they are not positive for PKU. Motor system disorder caused by brain damage is cerebral palsy, and most of the time that's caused by the baby being in the birth canal too long and not receiving oxygen to the brain. And number 9, incompletely formed spinal cord is spina bifida. So those are the items that are on the test. And also don't forget to take a look at your 25 vocabulary words. Those are all in a matching section, so make sure that you take a look at those as well. So this test will be on Thursday. So be looking for that in Google Classroom. It will not be posted until 8 a.m. on Thursday morning, and you'll have until 8 p.m. Thursday evening to complete the test. Thank you.